Hello, everybody. Elite cameraman here today. I am going to make the entire Fives Night at Freddy timeline from the beginning to the events of ruin. The story begins in the 1930s in Utah. A road show going around called Fredbear's Singing Show, featuring a classic bear of cartoons at the time, 50 cents for a ticket with food, which had an ever-impacting effect on one little boy named William Afton. For years afterwards, William tried to bring the magic of Fredbear's to life again, which he did with costumes, and created a festival, FazFest, 1977. He finally got his childhood dream with characters such as a costume version of Circus Baby, Balloon Boy, Paper Pals, and the main mascots, Fredbear and Golden Bonnie, until a fire one day struck out, destroying the festival. After this fire, Afton turned from a festival to a diner where the two mascots housing people would perform and enlighten the kids. Problem is, people saw his success and wanted in. Enter Chica's Party World, a better restaurant than his because they used robots with battery packs from the mind of the Henry Emily. The characters on stage were a talking hippo, a magic elephant, a chicken named Chica, a pig with a banjo, an upbeat frog, and a bear named Ned Bear. These robots were very cool, but clearly people preferred the human mascots as people chose Fredbear's Family Diner over Chica's Party World, as well as the name and design of Ned Bear being similar to William's own Fredbear, eventually sending Henry bankrupt, only to be bailed out by William and the two companies merged. Creating Fazbear Entertainment problem is one of their contractors, Edwin Murray, had recently gone missing, and his workshop, Murray's Costume Manor, was abandoned with the Mimic, an endoskeleton that mimicked voices. So, in 1979, William sent a team of 3 people to capture the Mimic. Team A, all 3 died. Then they sent another team of 3 people to capture the Mimic. Team B, all 3 died. Now, Fazbear wasn't playing around. They sent Henry to find the Mimic. Prepared Henry created a companion to help him named MXES, which is based on a supercomputer. MXES was loaded onto a Fazbear van and then taken with Henry to sneak into Edwin's Costume Manor and steal the Mimic. Eventually, they succeed and have him locked away with MXES, keeping him there. Then the company expanded with Henry's level of engineering. They turned Fredbear and Spring Bonnie into robots, which were so popular that they spawned a sequel restaurant. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza launched in 1983 with iconic characters of Freddy, a brown bear, Bonnie, a blue bunny, Chica the chicken, and Foxy the pirate fox, along with a bunch of merchandise of toys and lunchboxes. Henry had himself a wife and a daughter. Afton had a wife and 3 kids, and was learning robotics from an engineering master until with 2 restaurants came more work. Afton began to be buried in work, so he installed nanny cams and entrusted the duty of parenting his youngest son to his eldest son, Michael. Problem is, Michael was not a good babysitter. He was frustrated by this sad, pathetic crying baby and would often jump scare him with a foxy mask, until one day he took it too far. The day of the crying child's birthday, Mike and his friends would gather around Crying Child and make him get close to the animatronics, something he was terrified of doing based on him seeing an employee get put into the suit and thinking he was stuffed. The friends lifted him up and forced him to kiss Fredbear and laughed at him until the mouth clamped shut, crushing the Crying Child. The laughter instantly died out. The boy was dying. He was instantly rushed to the hospital and put on life support, but it was too late. He was gone. As he drifted off, Michael apologized to him, but Afton said his iconic line, "You're broken. I will put you back together." And the Crying Child died. Things didn't go so well after that. Fredbear's Family Diner was getting some bad reputation, so Henry implemented a security puppet and wristband system to prevent guests from leaving without supervision. Afton buried himself in work. Clara, his wife, began to sit and watch TV non-stop. Mike was traumatized and haunted by the ghost of his brother, often seeing him out the window and following the animatronic Fredbear that took his brother's life to his brother's gravesite to reflect. However, Afton also began to drink and began to realize that all his problems were caused by Henry Emily. It was all his fault. Afton, drunk and angry, sped back to the diner to give Henry a piece of his mind, but found poor little Charlie locked outside. Some bullies had locked the puppet away and kept her outside. This was Afton's chance to get back at life. While the fun continued inside, Afton brutally attacked Charlie in the alleyway and dumped her lifeless body near a dumpster and drove away. Then the puppet escaped its trap and found Charlie, but not before rain stuffed up its programming and it laid lifeless next to her, being infused with her agony. Afton drove home drunk and a monster. Whereas Henry discovered this, it was too late. The police had shut it down. With 2 deaths in 1 year was very bad attention, and the animatronics got retired to the back room of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Soon after this, a TV show launched, Freddy and Friends, with the only character missing from the TV show being Golden Bonnie, angering Afton. Afton remembered Charlie's death and how free he felt, so he went back. 1985. Putting on the Spring Bonnie suit, Afton lured kids to the back room of the pizzeria and killing them. First was Susie. "You never forget your first," he lied to her, claiming her dog had died, which it had, but where to hide the body? He couldn't sneak out, someone would see him. So he hid it in the one place nobody would think to look in the suits. He stuffed Susie into Chica. Then he kept going, Fritz into Foxy, Gabriel into Freddy, Jeremy into Bonnie. With each death, his lies got worse. Eventually, he went overboard and got violent with the 5th victim. He broke them beyond repair. He went too far. That one he shouldn't have killed, Cassidy. After these deaths, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza was forced to shut down. When Henry saw this, he knew Afton was behind it and threw him out of the company. With more free time, Afton creates his own company, Afton Robotics, LLC, for projects that Henry wouldn't do, his first one. Build an underground bunker under his house. He used it to display cameras and work on projects while keeping an eye on things. He also had to stop the runaway Michael problem, so he manipulated sound discs to make blank animatronics look nightmarish, terrifying, rotting, organic, to scare Mike to keep him inside. But since Afton was a bad father, his home life sucked. Clara tried to convince Afton to be a better father, but he was too far gone, so she left the relationship and moved on with her life. After this, Afton went and created a new pizzeria, Circus Baby's Pizza World. In it, he built a scooper machine, a machine to inject remnant into victims. With it, he could do experiments while being hidden, so having animatronics that could capture and contain children. With that in mind, he designed 4 new animatronics, Funtime Freddy, Funtime Bonnie, Funtime Foxy, Ballora for the wife who left him, and Circus Baby to parallel his daughter, who was so loyal to Daddy until the day she didn't. Afton knew how dangerous the animatronics were, so he instructed Elizabeth to stay away. But one day she didn't. She got close to Circus Baby and was instantly killed by being stuffed inside her. When Afton realized this, he canceled the launch of Circus Baby's Pizza World as he grieved. But he noticed Circus Baby's eyes turning from blue to green, just like Elizabeth's. He changed from Circus Baby Pizza World to Circus Baby Entertainment and Rentals, where you can rent out the Funtime animatronics for birthdays. In 1987, Henry launched the new and improved Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, and he equipped the animatronics with facial recognition software that are tied into a criminal database. The kids didn't like Toy Foxy and ripped him apart, turning him into Mangle. Afton heard about it in the news. He wouldn't let Freddy's come back without him, so he went back in the one place nobody expected as a lowly security guard. Once in, he tampered with the animatronics, and once again put on the Spring Bonnie suit and killed 5 more kids. Only this time, he didn't stuff him. He left them around the pizzeria for everyone to see. The pizzeria had only been open a couple of weeks, but now it got closed again. If Afton couldn't have Freddy's, nobody would. 1989, Afton then disappeared from home. Days and weeks went by with no reply. Michael knew what to do. In the case of this ever happening, Afton instructed Michael to go into his office and open the shelf in the back corner. Michael did this, and found an industrial-sized elevator in there, and he entered down into Circus Baby's entertainment and rentals. Michael was shocked that Afton had hid an underground bunker under his childhood home. As Michael looked around, all of Afton's story fell into place. He wasn't a lame, overworked dad. He was a monster toying with life itself. Experiment on humans, killing children. Then Michael saw her, Circus Baby. Of all the other animatronics, she was different. It was like she knew him, and she had a plan. She was sick and tired of being taken to kids' parties and back, so they decided it was time to leave. She tricked Michael by combining all the animatronics into one. Ennard. They lured Michael into the scooping room to dig out his flesh and place the wires and tangles of Ennard inside of him. For months, Michael's life was different, having to deal with being wires inside out. Michael's skin decayed. He turned into a walking purple guy. Afton ejected Ennard out into the sewers and continued living, remnant coursing through his veins. He can't die. Meanwhile, in the 1900s, Afton returned to Freddy's and began stealing the endoskeletons of them to boil down. 5 things become one thing, Fazgoo. Afton ejected it into a syringe and injected it into Funtime Freddy, and he came to life. Although he was angry and violent, Afton had discovered Remnant, but something else had his attention. During his endo heists, Afton had noticed some of his old animatronics wandering around the building trying to stop him, being led by the puppet. Afton had to know more, so in 1993, he went back to find any more endos he could steal until the souls of his victims came to stop him. The 4 spirits blocked the exit while Cassidy approached Afton. Not knowing how to stop him, he hoped that by putting on the suit that killed them all, he would have power over them once again. So he got into the suit, but the spring locks failed. Hundreds of metal wires jabbed into Afton's body from all sides. The pain was immeasurable, slowly bleeding out in a pool of blood. Eventually, a security guard came and reported a break-in based on the destroyed animatronics. An owner would have to come and clean up the mess. And who else besides Henry? When Henry saw what has become of Afton, he sealed the back room, and Afton proceeded to sit in the back room, rotting for 30 years. After his encounter with the monsters down in Sister Location, Michael was no longer the same. Angered by the twisted remnant experiments his father created, Michael now had a new purpose: to undo the damage caused by his father and eventually meet him once again. In 1993, Michael took a job as the night guard at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza under the fake name Mike Schmidt. Each night, he would listen to the log recordings from Ralph the Phone Guy, study how the animatronics worked, and then light the place ablaze. He kept seeing his brother, though, in the golden Freddy suit. It's me appearing everywhere, only he seemed more aggressive, like there was another soul possessing him. Then he went to the new and improved Freddy Fazbear's Pizza and changed his name to Fritz Smith. He learned about how the animatronics worked, listened to the log recordings from Ralph the Phone Guy, and saw the withered and the toy animatronics before burning the place to the ground. But all of this pizzeria searching was bringing his old nightmares back, fears of his past. Years later, in 2023, an ad came over Michael's TV. Fazbear Frights, a horror attraction based on the horrors at Freddy. Michael applied and immediately got the job. For days, there were nothing until he got the call he was waiting for. They found an animatronic, his father, Springtrap. While Michael and his father dealt with each other, the puppet was dealing with the souls of children, setting them free. Michael then rigged the wiring to set the place ablaze and left his father to die. Years later, in 2024, after the monsters were now roaming the streets, Henry Emily returned to stop this all. He built a trap pizzeria to lure them all back for one final ending. He sent out a job offering for someone life-risking, and of course Michael showed up. Michael did as he was instructed, bring the animatronics from the alley into the pizzeria. But Puppet wasn't as easy, so Henry built Lefty, which stands for lure, encapsulate, fuse, transport. Then, they all came. Scrap Trap, Molten Freddy, Lefty, and Scrap Baby. Then they sealed the doors and lit the place ablaze, but Michael decided this was where he ends.
Connection terminated. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Elizabeth. even remember that name. But I'm afraid you've been misinformed. You are not here to receive a gift, nor have you been called here by the individual you assume, although you have indeed been called. You have all been called here, into a labyrinth of sounds and smells, misdirection, and misfortune. A labyrinth with no exit, a maze with no prize. You don't even realize that you are trapped. Your lust for blood has driven you in endless circles, chasing the cries of children in some unseen chamber, always seeming so near, yet somehow out of reach. But you will never find them. None of you will. This is where your story ends. And to you, my brave volunteer, who somehow found this job listing not intended for you. Although there was a way out planned for you, I have a feeling that's not what you want. I have a feeling that you are right where you want to be. I am remaining as well. I am nearby. This place will not be remembered, and the memory of everything that started this can finally begin to fade away, as the agony of every tragedy should. And to you monsters trapped in the corridors, be still, and give up your spirits. They don't belong to you. For most of you, I believe there is peace, and perhaps more, waiting for you after the smoke clears. Although for one of you, the darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole. So don't keep the devil waiting, friend. My daughter, if you can hear me, I knew you would return as well. It's in your nature to protect the innocent. I'm sorry that on that day, the day you were shut out and left to die, no one was there to lift you up into their arms, the way you lifted others into yours. And then, what became of you? I should have known you wouldn't be content to disappear. Not my daughter. I couldn't save you then, so let me save you now. It's time to rest, for you, and for those you have carried in your arms. This ends, for all of us, in communication.
Although one of them didn't move on. Afton was kept alive by Golden Freddy, refusing to let him die to move on.
He tried to release you. He tried to release us. But I'm not gonna let that happen. I will hold you here. I will keep you here. No matter how many times they burn us.
Greetings from the fire and from the one you should not have killed.
That's my part 1. Part 2 will come out later or something. See you then.